14 men on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. Drink and the devil have done the rest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Whoa, Dave, what are you trying to do? You trying to get people to unsubscribe from the channel?
Sorry, man, I'm just really feeling my next character. It's a nautical campaign.
So what are you going to play? A ship's wizard, a swashbuckling rogue, a Viking-style barbarian? What do you got?
A paladin.
A paladin?
Yeah, let me tell you about the new 5e paladin subclass, Oath of the Open Sea. Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Dave, and as usual, I'm joined by this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted.
You won't need divine sense to find your next D&D video if you hit that subscribe button.
And if it's more Nerdarchy videos you're after, you're going to have to smite that notification bell.
We're going to pull up the new Oath from Critical Role from Matt Mercer over on D&D Beyond. It's only kind of fair that we mentioned D&D Beyond is the sponsor for this video, as a channel sponsor. You can actually find this Oath over there. There will be a link to it down in the description. You should go check it out, and maybe you'll be playing Oath of the Sea in your next campaign.
So at the time of the recording of this, Matt offered this up to, Fjord as the new Paladin Oath.
And while Ted saw it on the Critical Role, I actually saw the tweet on Twitter, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This would be a good thing to talk about, right? And there's the tweet from Matt Mercer, reminder, this is new Oath is for fun and developed as an untested homebrew for one of my players. Some elements may be overwhelming, but it was made with fun for Fjord in mind. So if you have any beefs with it, just know it is still technically playtest as per Matt.
Absolutely. So the Oath of the Open Sea calls to seafaring warriors, swashbuckling sailors, and journeying guardians who seek the thrill of an endless horizon. Driven to seek the adventure and mystery across beneath every endless oceanic expanse, paladins who swear this oath stand against those who would deny the liberties afforded to like-minded travelers, rooting out the tyrannical and corrupt and claim any shore. Such guardians believe in the natural beauty of the sea, often making offerings and prayers to entities or deities like the Wild Mother or Storm Lord that influence safe passage, while often feeling called to hunt those monstrosities that seek to terrorize and spoil the waters and with wanton violence and ill intent.
So we get, obviously with all new Paladin Oaths, we get our oaths. No greater life than life lived free. One should be free to chart their own path without oppression. Those who would exert their power to dominate others shall be smoked.
Trust the skies, the guidance of a strong breeze, the rumbling warnings of a coming storm. Nature is a source of portent and counsel that should be heeded.
Adapt like the water. The waters of the ocean can shift around any obstacle or become an impassable one. They carve around and reveal the secrets of the past or swallow the truth and hide it forever. To embrace the fluidity is to be ready for any challenge.
Explore the uncharted. The world is filled with much mystery. Through the pursuit of these enigmatic ends, one can uncover both those who hide their dark deeds in shadow to be judged and find the path to becoming something great.
All right, as always, we get oath spells with our oath, and at 3rd level, we're going to get Create or Destroy Water, Expeditious Retreat.
At 5th level, we get Augury and Misty Step.
9th level, Rock and Call Lightning and Tidal Wave.
13th is going to be Control Water and Freedom of Movement.
17th, Commune with Nature, Maelstrom.
So there's definitely a very, fun, natural, and seafaring, selection of spells. Definitely spells that fall outside the realm of your typical paladin spells, but nothing that I feel like is outside the spectrum of, what is fitting for this particular oath.
Not only that, I mean, you're getting the stronger stuff so late game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really it's not going to offset anything. It's just going to add cool flavor to your paladin. The idea of being in battle and fighting, the hordes while you're calling down lightning around you as a paladin is pretty epic. But again, you're not doing that until, 9th level. So it's not too bad. And also, it also means you can't be casting smite spells because you're concentrating on that as well. So there's an upside, there's a downside, but it also gives you some more options as a paladin.
And to be fair, most paladins, or at least in our experience, they're not actually casting, spells, that they're actually just, saving them to hit a little bit harder because, Smite is flipping awesome.
Smite is pretty awesome. So next up, we have our channel Divinities. We're going to get Marine Layer. As an action, you can channel the sea to create a thick cloud of fog that surrounds you and heavily obscures the area for 20 feet in all directions, following you as you move. You and all creatures within 5 feet of you instead treat this fog as a lightly obscured. The fog lasts for 10 minutes and spreads around corners and cannot be dispersed. This is pretty awesome because this is a super cool control effect that affects your enemies and not you and your allies so much.
Yeah, I totally dig this. I think it's a lot of fun, and it you don't necessarily need to be out in the open or on board a ship to make this happen. So I like that option. I think it's really cool, and it's going to be fun to see how that winds up being used in games.
And thematically, it's also kind of spooky and cool as well to have this fog cloud kind of billowing out from this epic warrior who's been smiting and smoting all over the place, and now he's becoming obscured. So it's going to be a complete terror on the battlefield. And then later on at higher levels, you're going to be calling down lightning around you as well. So the visuals on this so far, I'm really enjoying. I don't think it's like super powerful, but I think it's super fun and thematic.
I would agree, but that's not it. We also have Fury of the Tide, so instead of the Marine Layer, you can do, as a bonus action, you can channel the powerful might of the waves to bolster your attacks for a minute. Once per turn for the duration, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can choose to push the target 10 feet away from you. If the target is pushed into an obstacle or other creature, they take an additional bludgeoning damage equal to your charisma modifier.
Again, we're getting another control effect, so this Paladin's getting to have a certain kind of feel to it so far that I'm really enjoying.
So when you look at the fact that it's, designed for, the open sea, I can only imagine, if you've got people who are raiding your ship and once per turn you hit them with attack and totally just knock them off the ship, that's pretty awesome, especially because if it's ship-to-ship combat, you're probably knocking them into the water, potentially delaying their return to the battle at, if at all, it could be 1 to 3 turns before they're back. So definitely useful.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, it's fun. Also, at 7th level, we're going to see our Aura of Liberation. Starting at 7th level, you can emanate an aura while you are not incapacitated. You and any creature of your choice within 10 feet of you cannot be grappled or restrained, as well as ignore penalties on movement or attacks underwater. Creatures that are already grappled or restrained, when they enter the aura, you can spend 5 feet of movement to automatically escape non-magical restraints. Obviously, 18th level, it's a Paladin aura. It gets bigger, 30 feet. This feels like a mini freedom of movement. Not quite as good, but it also has some other benefits.
So when I first read this one, I was like, holy moly, that's awesome. Can't be restrained, can't be grappled. And then it's like, oh, while underwater. Okay, I'm all right with that. Because I know there's so many monsters out there that grappling is just part and parcel to it, especially at that, that mid-game, that mid-tier, game. So 7th level would be like, nah, I got this, I was like, all right, I'm a little concerned. But once I read that while underwater, I'm like, all right, I'm cool. I can totally allow this. How often are we adventuring underwater, consistently?
I like the other stuff, but this one is a little weak sauce for the 7th level auras. I'm not quite sure that it's the worst one thus far, but it's closing in on that territory just because it's so super specific. It just needs a little something extra.
So I look at this one and I have found, I having watched, Critical Role and being caught up again at the time of this recording, I know that Matt is very into, all right, my players have abilities, I'm going to make those abilities shine. So I know that once Fjord gets high enough, if he gets to there, this R is absolutely going to come up. There will definitely be more underwater action and things that grapple. So it'll definitely have his moments to shine and be awesome. But for your typical campaign, I might change this to, while, on or underwater, maybe while you're on a ship, the waters help you and, the Kraken can't actually grapple you. that'd be pretty devastating. Despite how massive the thing is, it just seems to slide right out of its grip every time, man. But for your usual campaign,
yeah, this one needs a little work, and I'm sure Matt's going to go back and probably rework it at some point. I'll get some feedback whether he wants it or not. There's going to be plenty of it out there.
So Stormy Waters at 15th level. You can call Crashing Waters around you as a reaction whenever a creature enters or exits your melee range. The creature takes 1d12 bludgeoning damage and must succeed on a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. I love things that, are going to use your reaction. It gives the Paladin something to do. Entering and exiting, you only get one reaction around, but there's no attack roll. So they're just going to take the damage, and they can make a strength save or be knocked prone. That means, like, when people come, if they charge across the battlefield, they might get to you, fail the strength save, get knocked prone, and then not have the movement to get up. So this is definitely a massive, tactical bonus. And then when it gets to your turn, they're still going to be prone, so you're going to have advantage on your attacks against them.
Yeah.
This is major.
Now,
this is major.
The second part I see less useful because, you get the control effect, but also, right, if you had the option of having this feat or having the feat sentinel or this feature, I feel like you would go with the feat. So therefore, it's not like overwhelmingly good to me. It's kind of cool, like you said, if they're coming in, going out. A lot of times, it's better for you to just take the attack of opportunity. I mean, you're a paladin, right? A die 12 is nothing to you, because you can smite for at this point you can smite for 5, 6, maybe even 7 die 8, and as opposed to that. The control effect might be useful, but like if you had the feat sentinel, that would shut down the movement anyway. So while this is a good ability, because sentinel is in the game, it's less good. But it also might free up your character to be like, you know what? I'm going to get this cool ability. I'm going to use that instead of sentinel. And I do like the fact that you can use it when they're coming in towards you as a reaction. Again, this is going to be also a cool ability to use with a reach build.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, with the reach build can greatly change things. But I look at the fact where it's, just the control factor of, all right, I don't need to use a feat in order to gain this ability. We are talking about 15th level, so it's up there. But the creature, gets into my melee range. I blast them. If they fail that save, they're on the ground. Now their attack rolls might be a disadvantage, if they're failing that save. My attack rolls are going to be advantage if they don't have the speed to get back up. I think there's definitely, some fun and interesting angles to play with there. So I'm digging it. Yeah, it might not be as great as Sentinel, but it's something that, it's going to get used frequently without needing to have to spend a feat. And since we know Paladins, you need strength, you need constitution, you need charisma, you might need wisdom depending upon what kind of build. So like the Paladin needs stats, so taking feats tends to hurt them.
Yeah, I only bring it up because I've just seen a lot of Paladins take that feat in particular.
That's true.
So with that, we're going to move into our 20th level ability, Mythic Swashbuckler. At 20th level, you learn to channel the spirits of historic sea captains to briefly become a paragon of heroic adventure. As an action, you can embrace the spirit of the sea, gain the following benefits for 1 minute. Climbing costs no additional movement, and you have advantage on strength athletics checks. You are within 5 feet of a creature, and no other creature are within 5 feet of you. Advantage on your attacks against that creature. You can take the dodge action as a bonus action. You have advantage on all dexterity checks and dexterity saving throws against effects that you can see. You can't do this again until you finish a long rest. All in all, I mean, it's okay. As the capstone ability for a paladin, it's tough because there are some really good ones when it comes to paladin.
So I look at it and I'm pretty enthused. I feel it absolutely captures the spirit of what the class is trying to say. You're agile, with getting advantage on all the dex checks and dex saves. being able to climb, for free, totally means you are scaling the Riggins like it's nothing. An advantage on athletics checks to, jump and move completely makes sense. And we, for those who are actually, watching Critical Role, we know that Fjord is not the most, meaty. He's not the strongest of half-orcs that's out there. So this is actually a way to showcase that and allow him to build up. He's a multi-class character, so he's never going to get to 20th level. But I do know that it's designed with that character in mind, so I look at that as a way of compensating. And who knows? Maybe something will happen and Fjord will still gain that ability before the end of the campaign. I don't know. But I look at, beyond the mechanics of it and who it's designed for. So I definitely understand it. I feel that it all completely fits that, swashbuckling champion on a boat. All of those things make sense. It might not be the best of the 20th level abilities for Paladin, but I would absolutely play this class in a heartbeat. Everything seems fun. It all seems thematic. Nothing is overpowered in any of the games that I would be typically playing. So I like it. I'd totally give it a thumbs up.
So yeah, I mean, overall, I do like the theme of it. There's a couple things that need tweaking. Granted, like the 20th level ability, I mean, does it matter? Are you good to play the 20th level? Who does? Right? It's rare that we even see that. I just find two of the abilities to be very situational. So 50% of it's situational, 50% of it can be useful and cool. Paladin does have a lot of things to do with their bonus action, right? Because they have a lot of bonus action spells, like for smites and stuff like that. And this particular Paladin is really good about using actions. So it has a lot of actions it can use, which is always cool because it just means more options that you can play with. So it's fun. I'd like to see where this goes if it gets revised and what kind of changes Matt makes. But all in all, I think it's cool. It's thematic. It's fun. I would definitely allow it at my table. I might tweak it a little bit at my table in favor of the player and maybe add some things as opposed to take things away. But, what do you guys think?
So this isn't the first time that we've talked about Critical Role. Why not check out this video of what Matt Mercer and Critical Role taught us about D&D?
Hey, YouTube isn't the only place you can find Nerdarchy. We're also on Patreon.
Over on Patreon, we're creating monthly content for 5e, doing monthly fan games, and so much more.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.